State Senator Jamaal T.
Constituents that are part of the cooperative world. I am State Senator Jamaal T. Bailey. I represent the 36th Senatorial District covering the Bronx neighborhoods of Wakefield, Williamsbridge, Eastchester, Co-op City, Norwood, and Bedford Park, in the western city of Mount Vernon. After that, I don't have much more to say that you don't already know. Why co-ops are great, why co-ops are important, why co-ops simply make sense. It's an economic development tool at an even point, and it allows us all to rise together. I have not been in the movement as long as so many people have. I started out in 2009 as a student at Queen's School of Law under the leadership of Carmen Huertas Noble, who is somebody who is very deeply invested in the co-op movement. And I found that co-op simply just made sense. You had people who we can work together, we can set governance together, we can make money together, we can build together as a community. Why don't we do more of this? And prior to my election in state senate, unfortunately, the state hadn't done many things towards this end. But I've been advocating at the state level. I've passed legislation concerning worker cooperatives in the state senate, and I have a really aspirational bill that I'm going to try to get through this year, which would create a state university-backed center for worker-owned businesses. You know, other states have it. Maine has one. I think Vermont has one. Why can't New York be next up on? We are the Empire State. That's right. But this is apropos because this is why we do this work. This is why we do this work. I got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, right? And every decision I make legislatively, I think about children. And I think about what are we leaving our children educationally? What are we leaving our children in the criminal justice system? But financially, what are we leaving for our kids? We can leave a legacy of knowledge all we want, but if we don't have money, if we don't own anything, what are we really leaving them behind? The answer is nothing. But I'm trying to build something. And I'm trying to make sure that we think about cooperatives as being bigger. I like seeing different things in co-ops. When we went to Mondragon in Spain, and I got the chance to go there with Deputy Mayor Thompson and the MIT Mel King Fellows, it showed that you can build at a higher level, that co-ops don't necessarily have to just be small time. We went to see a company called Otoño, which is an elevator company in Spain, which is one of the largest green worker cooperatives, one of the largest green elevator companies in Europe. And that's a co-op. Co-ops can be big business. Big business isn't bad as long as we share the profits right. As long as we share it equally and we govern equally, making money is not a bad thing. It's just the people who have controlled the money for so long haven't done what they're supposed to do with it. But I think movements like this, and in a time like this, as Omar said, it's a movement, and I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need your help to advocate for the legislation that I've introduced. I am open to technical corrections and fixes and things that will make sure the entire co-op and ESOP and everybody under the umbrella can get a piece of the pie. But I need your help. I need for you to advocate and call your legislators, other than me, because I'm there.
We got your back. We got your back.
But call other legislators. I'm serious. Call your friends in other parts of the state, because tell them how important it is to make sure that co-ops become a part of what we're doing at a statewide policy level. Helen is doing it, and she's been doing it in the city level for a long time, so I want to thank you for what you've been doing, Councilwoman. I need help in Albany, and cooperatively, we can do it together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Bailey. So you heard him when we put out the call, the text blast, the email that says, come get on the bus, going to Albany. He's going to be there. I mean, make some noise. He's going to be there. Yeah. Wait, seriously? Who's going to be there? All right. Thank you. All right. So I mentioned both Councilmember Rosenthal and State Senator Bailey were here at our last graduation. Councilmember Rosenthal, we actually couldn't, she was like the second to last person to leave. We couldn't get excited now to have the newest addition, who has been a longtime advocate and supporter and really champion for cooperatives and economic democracy. So it's refreshing to have a voice like his in the administration and in city government. So I want to bring up Deputy Mayor, who has been a champion again, Deputy Mayor Phil Thompson.
So, congratulations to you all. This is a really fun and rich night for me to just hear your wonderful ideas and business plans. And I actually was just popping with ideas listening to you. Like, you know, I know the hair thing's going to work. I was like, how about greeting cards that people can give their home care worker? You know, I was just popping the whole time, just excited about, you know, all of your ideas because they're so wonderful. And I was like, can't we get some money to do theater for young people in our DYCD youth programs to get their, you know, I'm just popping with, like, things. So, Omar, congratulations. This is wonderful. What the Green Worker Cooperatives has done is building infrastructure, and that's what we need to do and keep doing and build it out bigger and stronger so we can build a movement. I want to say that Janelle Doris is here with me. He's head of our minority and women business programs for the city. Sam Jung is here, who works with Janelle, and we've created a unit within MWBE in the city specifically to focus on how do we grow co-ops in New York City. How do we build the ecosystem? How do we get contracts to co-ops that can help co-ops grow and sustain themselves? I also want to do a shout out. First, Jessica, I use your book in my class. I've been a professor in MIT for 20 years. They all study Jessica's work. She has helped us learn our own history, to know where we come from. So thank you for that. Dennis Derrick, is he still here? Dennis was the brains at the Harlem Urban Development Corporation, and he was pushing Thinking This Way 25 years ago in the first empowerment zone in the United States. Dennis was out there fighting and advocating for these things way back then, so it's really good to see him here. I just want to say we need co-ops in New York and in America more than ever. Nearly 100% of jobs created in the United States in the last 10 years have been what's called contingent work. And what that means is work with no benefits. What that means is work with no guarantees. What that means is work with no voice. And at the very same time, we've seen billionaires just get richer and richer and richer. I think the former mayor was worth $7 billion when he became mayor. He's worth 40-some billion now. Like, the billionaires are getting richer and richer, and working people across the country are staying where we are, and young people, it's like a downward spiral. And young people now are the first generation, maybe in American history, that are not going to have an economic future as good as what their parents have, unless we do something. So we have to change the nature of work. And technology, robots and everything else, is even a greater threat. Walmart is talking about putting robots in the stock shelves, then it'll be Target. They're going to lay people off. But I tell you, if workers owned Walmart, they wouldn't lay themselves off. They'd give themselves a paid vacation, or they'd use the savings they have to upgrade their skills and do different things. We have to make changes in our economy. It's not just a good thing to do. We have to. The other thing I want to say is I love how you're really emphasizing worker education and worker voice. If workers in unions in New York City actually exercise real power and control over their pension funds, we would not have an affordable housing problem in New York City, because they build the affordable housing with their own retirement funds. But there's no leadership, there's no training, there's no worker development. So it's not just a matter of having legal ownership and control of money. It's really using, just as Omar said, democracy means changing our economy, means empowering workers to actually understand the economy, understand what business is, understanding what a pension fund is, and then using it the way you want to use it, the way our communities need it, and not letting Wall Street treat us like we're ignorant and they disempower us. One of the best books in America ever written, in my opinion, was 1933, Carter G. Woodson, The Miseducation of the Negro. Carter G. Woodson said, they figured out a better way than slavery, and that was miseducation. Because if you miseducate the Negro, and you can add in women, you can add in anybody. If you miseducate the Negro, you don't have to close the door in their face. If the door's open, they'll close it themselves. And that's what we really have to change. So thank you for that. Last, a year ago today, I was working in Colombia. I've been working in Colombia, South America for 7 years in the rainforest, which is 90% Afro-Colombian, 10% indigenous. And there's a movement there of co-ops. There's a co-op of 2,000 Afro-Colombian women who have been displaced by violence. 4 million Afro-Colombians have been displaced by violence, mainly caused by mining companies stealing their land and drug cartels. 2,000 women have a cooperative where they grow rice. And they literally pick up cocoa plants planted by the cartels and plant rice. And I asked them, last year I was in Colombia, a year ago today, and I asked them, what do you need? What can I do for you? And they said, we need 500 Bibles in Spanish. I thought they were going to ask for money. They said 500 Bibles in Spanish. I was like, why do you need 500 Bibles? Because they said, if you're going around picking up cocaine plants planted by the cartels, you need faith. It takes a lot of faith to do that. So that's what we did. But there's them. And one of the things we're also talking about in the city right now, we don't grow rice in New York, but we're the second largest food purchaser in the United States. Department of Ed and prison, number 2 in the United States. Why don't we buy their rice? Why don't we start using our procurement power, whether it's in Colombia, whether it's in Jamaica, whether it's in Puerto Rico? Why don't we start using that to build the kind of economy we want to see? And why don't we start doing that right in New York City? So thank you.
Well, actually, first, do you like what you heard?
Yes.
You really like what you heard?
Yes.
All right, so these are the kind of people that we want to see more of, and these are the kind of people that have our back, and they have our back because we have been pushing forward. So we have been, as a community, from all over the city, from the Bronx and Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, even in Staten Island, that communities, we have been pushing this movement really from the ground up. So when the people lead, those who are elected, will follow. Those who are in government will follow. So we have to make sure that we are the ones that are out there pushing. I got a story for you, Deputy Mayor. Last summer, speaking of Colombia, last summer, my wife, Jamaal, who's here in the crowd, and an incredible leader, and who is someone who has been operating here in New York City and around the country and around the world, helping and working in communities African descent, and has been and got me to come down to Colombia. So last summer we actually spent a month in Colombia, and so because I now through her have been connected through Black human rights organizations in Colombia, we wound up doing a co-op academy in Colombia. And so it was incredible for me, and we did a mini version. It was a 2-day thing over a weekend, and we had a team of 6 people who had 6 different groups that had different ideas. A lot of similar kinds of things that folks have been talking about and presenting today. And they were super excited. They said, one, they had never gone through a process like that with somebody who looked like them. And spoke Spanish. And 2, that we had done it in a way that was completely outside of the norm of how education and vocational training and any of those things are done, where it's just someone lecturing to a group of people. And that those two things were like the universe just opened up for folks. And we had 6 teams that were super excited in just 2 days. One of them was actually, and I'll just take a moment to, if you can indulge me for a moment here. One of them was a team that they had this idea to turn up the engines on a mill that had been set up by a nonprofit organization, international NGO, to turn plantains into plantain flour and bag it and be able to sell it. And because it's a traditional way of nutrition. And it wasn't something that was commercialized. And so they had moved, they said they wanted to make this happen. And just about 2 months ago, I got a WhatsApp image of this bag of plantain flour, printed with a logo and everything that was coming from this brand new co-op.
A woman.
Yes, a woman-led, black women-led worker cooperative in a remote rural part of Colombia, where people are under fire from the paramilitaries and the government and are risking life and limb to hold on to land that has been theirs since Africans escaped slavery and took control of land. And so that's the kind of history that we're connected to, that we're part of, and we're growing right here in the Bronx and in New York City, and that all of you are part of now.
And if you want to go visit, please talk to me.
Yes, actually, Jamaal is leading a delegation in a few months. So you can talk to Jamaal a little later. All right, so here's how the rest of the night is going to go.